Show map. In our previous episodes, we analyzed the collapse of the Kushan Empire, which left the Gangetic Plains fractured and ripe for a new, unifying force to emerge from the regional power centers of northern India. Title card: The Gupta Empire, beginning around 320 CE with Chandragupta I, is celebrated as a golden age of Indian history, a period defined by extraordinary advancements in science, literature, and architectural sophistication that still resonate today. Timeline: The immediate aftermath of the Gupta rise saw the consolidation of the Gangetic heartland, effectively ending the era of small, competing kingdoms and establishing a centralized administrative model that would persist for over 2 centuries. Archival photo: The Archaeological Survey of India recognizes the Gupta period as a pinnacle of civilizational achievement, with sites like Sanchi and the Ajanta frescoes receiving official protection as monuments of supreme importance to national heritage. Infographic: By implementing a sophisticated tributary system, the Guptas expanded their influence far beyond their core, allowing them to control trade routes that connected the Silk Road to the maritime ports of the Indian Ocean. Illustration: Ordinary citizens during the Gupta period experienced a relatively stable society, though the period also saw the formalization of social hierarchies, as evidenced by the codification of laws in texts like the Manusmriti and Puranas. Show map: At its territorial peak, the empire stretched from the Indus River in the west to the Brahmaputra in the east, encompassing the fertile Gangetic plains and reaching down to the Narmada River in the south. Archival photo: Today, the legacy of the Gupta period is preserved in national museums and academic institutions, where the study of Gupta-era coinage and inscriptions continues to provide insights into ancient economic policies and royal iconography. Diagram: A lesser-known fact is the metallurgical prowess of the era, best exemplified by the Murali iron pillar, which has remained remarkably resistant to corrosion for over 1,600 years due to its unique high phosphorus content. Comparison: Compared to contemporary empires like the Roman Empire in the West, the Gupta state relied more on a mandala system of vassal kings rather than a centralized, monolithic bureaucracy, allowing for greater regional cultural variation. Document highlight: The Prayag Prashasti, an inscription on the Allahabad pillar, serves as a primary document detailing Samudragupta's military campaigns and his diplomatic relationships with various subordinate kings across the Indian subcontinent. Illustration: The Gupta royal family maintained their influence through strategic marriages and the patronage of Sanskrit scholars, which helped create a standardized cultural identity that unified the diverse regions under their nominal control. Timeline: Following the death of Chandragupta in 467 CE, the empire faced increasing pressure from Hunna invasions, leading to a gradual decline in the central authority's ability to maintain the integrity of its borders and internal trade. Illustration: The story of the Gupta Empire inspires modern discourse because it demonstrates how focused investment in education, science, and cultural synthesis can create a lasting impact on global knowledge systems, particularly in mathematics and astronomy. Diagram: A neutral takeaway from this era is that the Golden Age was not a uniform experience, but rather a complex period of significant intellectual growth balanced against the challenges of feudal fragmentation and social stratification. Title card: As we conclude this examination of the Gupta era, we have seen how a dynasty transformed the Gangetic Plains into a center of global influence, setting the stage for the subsequent developments in our series. The echoes of the Gupta Empire continue to resonate in the foundational structures of Indian intellectual and cultural life, reminding us that even the greatest empires are defined by the depth of their contributions to humanity. Document highlight: Our analysis relies on documented archaeological evidence and historical texts, ensuring that the narrative remains grounded in the scholarly consensus surrounding the Gupta period's political, social, and scientific achievements. Chandragupta I, the founder, solidified his position by marrying the Lichavi princess Kumaragupta, a strategic alliance that provided the necessary political legitimacy and military support to expand his influence beyond the Magadha region. Samudragupta's southern campaigns, detailed in the Allahabad pillar, demonstrate a sophisticated military strategy where he defeated various kings but often reinstated them as tributaries, avoiding the administrative burden of direct, long-distance governance. Chandragupta II, known as Vikramaditya, successfully defeated the western Kshatrapas, a move that secured control over the prosperous ports of Gujarat and significantly boosted the empire's wealth through increased international maritime trade. The Chinese monk Faxian, who traveled through the empire during the reign of Chandragupta II, noted the relative ease of travel and the absence of capital punishment, providing a rare external perspective on the administration. Kumaragupta I is credited with the establishment of Nalanda University, which would grow to become one of the most significant centers of higher learning in the ancient world, attracting thousands of scholars from across Asia. Skandagupta's defense against the Hunas is documented in the Bhitari Pillar Inscription, which depicts the intense struggle and the eventual success of the Gupta forces in repelling the initial waves of these nomadic incursions. The Gupta dinaras, or gold coins, were minted with high purity, often exceeding 90% gold content, which served as a testament to the empire's economic prosperity and the strength of its trade network during the peak years. Aryabhata, the renowned mathematician and astronomer, flourished during this period, formulating the concept of zero and calculating the value of pi, contributions that fundamentally changed the trajectory of global mathematical development for centuries to come. The development of the Nagara and Dravid temple architecture styles began to take shape during the Gupta period, providing the architectural foundation for the monumental temple structures that would later define Indian religious and cultural landscapes. The decline of the empire was not a sudden collapse but a gradual process, driven by the strain of constant border defense, the loss of revenue from trade, and the increasing autonomy of provincial governors and vassal kings. The Gupta administration utilized a tiered system, with the central government overseeing the core, while distant provinces were managed by governors, or uparikas, who often held significant power and influence within their respective regions. Sanskrit literature experienced a renaissance under the Gupta patronage, with poets like Kalidasa producing masterpieces such as Abhijnana-Shakuntalam, which remain central to the study of classical Indian drama and literary tradition in the modern era. The empire's reliance on a mandala system meant that the core territories remained under direct control, while the periphery was a network of tributary states, a structure that was efficient for expansion but fragile during times of internal instability. The Bhitari Pillar Inscription is a crucial piece of evidence that highlights the challenges faced by Skandagupta, providing a first-hand account of the military efforts required to maintain the stability of the empire against external threats. The decline in the gold purity of the dinaras under later Gupta rulers is a clear economic indicator of the fiscal strain caused by the prolonged conflicts and the loss of control over key trade nodes in the northwest. The Ajanta caves, with their intricate murals depicting Jataka tales, provide a visual record of the artistic and religious life during the Gupta and post-Gupta periods, showing the deep integration of Buddhism into the cultural fabric. Pataliputra, the capital, served as the administrative and intellectual hub of the empire, hosting a vibrant community of scholars, artists, and officials who contributed to the cultural and political life of the Gupta realm for generations. The Gupta period's influence on Southeast Asia is evident in the spread of Sanskrit, Indian religious practices, and architectural styles, which were carried across the sea by merchants and scholars during the height of the empire's maritime trade. The codification of social norms in Puranic texts during this period helped to standardize religious practices and social hierarchies, which played a significant role in shaping the cultural identity of the Indian subcontinent for centuries thereafter. The Murali Iron Pillar, besides being a masterpiece of metallurgy, also contains an inscription praising a king named Chandra, who is widely identified by historians as Chandragupta II, linking the artifact directly to the Gupta dynasty. The role of Ujjain as a secondary capital and major trade hub was crucial for the empire's control over the western regions, serving as a center for both commerce and the astronomical observations that characterized the era's scientific output. The Gupta state support for Nalanda University created a model for institutionalized education that would influence the development of universities across the Buddhist world, establishing a legacy of scholarship that persisted long after the empire's fall. The Huna incursions, led by leaders such as Toramana and Mihirakula, brought significant disruption to the northern regions, forcing the Gupta state to divert resources from cultural and economic development to military defense and border security. The Gupta period saw a significant increase in the use of Sanskrit in official epigraphy, which helped to create a uniform language for administration and literature across the diverse regions of the empire, strengthening the sense of a shared identity. The internal administrative strain, caused by the increasing autonomy of local officials, meant that the central authority in Pataliputra became less effective at managing the empire's vast territories, leading to regional fragmentation and the rise of independent states. The Gupta coinage, featuring images of the king in various roles such as a warrior, musician, or a hunter, provides a rich visual record of the royal iconography and the values that the dynasty sought to project to its subjects. The role of the Samantas, or vassal kings, was pivotal in the Gupta political structure, as they provided the military and financial support necessary for the empire's survival while maintaining significant autonomy in their own territories. The Gupta period's scientific advancements were not isolated but were part of a broader intellectual culture that encouraged inquiry into mathematics, astronomy, and medicine, creating a foundation for future developments in these fields across the subcontinent. The Prayag Prashasti's eulogistic tone, while designed to glorify Samudragupta, provides invaluable details about the political geography of the time, listing the various kings and regions that were brought under the Gupta sphere of influence during his reign. The Gupta Empire's influence on Indian national identity is profound, as it is frequently cited in modern discourse as a period of civilizational unity and achievement, highlighting the enduring relevance of this era in the contemporary Indian consciousness. The transition from the Gupta Empire to the subsequent regional kingdoms was marked by a shift in political power, as the centralized authority gave way to a more decentralized landscape, setting the stage for the next phase of Indian history. The Gupta period's legacy in art and architecture is not just confined to the monuments themselves but also includes the influence they had on the artistic traditions of the following centuries, shaping the aesthetic language of classical Indian culture. The study of Gupta-era inscriptions has been essential for reconstructing the political history of the period, as they provide the names of kings, the dates of their reigns, and the details of their military and administrative achievements. The Gupta Empire's economic success was supported by a stable currency system, which facilitated trade both within the empire and with international partners, contributing to the overall prosperity of the realm during its peak years in the 4th and 5th centuries. The role of the Gupta royal family in patronizing the arts and sciences created a unique environment where intellectual pursuits were highly valued, leading to the flourishing of literature, mathematics, and astronomy that defined the Golden Age. The Gupta period's influence on the development of the Sanskrit language as a literary medium was profound, as the royal court's patronage helped to standardize the language and promote its use in both official and creative contexts. The Gupta Empire's collapse, while complex, highlights the challenges of maintaining a large, diverse empire in the face of external pressures and internal administrative changes, providing a valuable historical lesson on the dynamics of imperial decline. Ultimately, the Gupta Empire stands as a foundational pillar of India's civilizational history, representing an era where the synthesis of political power, intellectual achievement, and cultural growth created a legacy that continues to define the nation's identity today.